Hey guys, it's Elizabeth, Finding Elizabeth. This is, I'm like 37 and a half months post vertical sleeve gastrectomy update, doing a car video on my way to LA. This is a weird video because first time, so many people always ask me, how do you think of something to talk about every week for 37 and a half months? And usually I do. Usually there's something that's been mulling around in my brain that week. And today I was like, okay, I'm going to be in the car. I can make a video on my way to this event. Monday, it's my regular update day, but what the hell do I want to talk about? And I didn't know. So I'm going to pull something out from the past that I think might be a little relevant. But first, the stats and what I'm doing from a weight loss perspective. Because yes, 3 years later, I'm still doing this every day. It's going to be a lifelong focus. So, starting weight, January of 2014, 402 pounds. I had vertical sleeve gastrectomy on April 14th, 2014 at 360.6 pounds. The lowest I have gotten to is like 198 pounds, which was about a year ago. I let my weight creep back up to almost 220 pounds. I think it was like 219.8, which was way too close for me. That was just a couple weeks ago. Last week I think I was 215.8. This week I think I'm like 214 point something, 0.5 or something. So I've lost like a pound or pound and a half. So back on the way down, which is where I want to be. What have I been doing? I've been eating ketogenically, which is very low carb, moderate protein, and high fat. It took me a couple tries to get there, but I love it. It has done, I've lost 5 pounds, which isn't a huge amount, but hey, the scale has been going up since January, so now it's going back down in the right direction, so I'm all good with that. But I really love this way of eating, and it is really, I didn't really count, I didn't try to keep my carbs below 20. They were naturally probably around 50 or less for the majority of my weight loss phase. But it's a very natural way to eat for me, and it's a lot of the things that I love. And there's 2 things, in addition to the weight starting to come down again, I feel great, and there's 2 other things that have happened that I just wanted to mention because they are awesome things. Over the last 4 months or so, I had gotten into the habit of eating sweets and processed food in a way that I hadn't really since I had weight loss surgery. I would every once in a while have something, but it had gotten to where it was multiple times a week that I was having something sweet, like candy or cookies or pie or whatever. Those cravings are gone. I was not able to go into a store without picking up candy there for a while. Those cravings are gone now. The one sweet thing that I eat that totally satisfies me is Greek yogurt, cherry Greek yogurt with heavy whipping cream with some Splenda in it. The Greek yogurt that I eat has like 8 or 9 carbs, which I am easily able to fit into my 20 net carbs on most days, because mainly I eat things that have no carbs. So occasionally I won't be able to fit one in, but for the most part I can, and it's the thing I eat before I go to bed. But it is super sweet, and to me it tastes as good as an ice cream sundae. I'm just saying, it does. Try it, it's really good. Ask Keisha, the goodbye girl, she started having it and she liked it too. Anyway, so cravings for sweets and processed foods have gone away, which is amazing. Number 2 thing is, even though I've only lost 5 pounds, the bloating that I was experiencing in my stomach area is gone. Of course, I still have a stomach. I lost 200 pounds and I was very apple-shaped. However, my pants fit fine now. This sweater that I'm wearing tonight, I bought a few months ago and had never worn, because every time I tried to put it on with pants, I felt like it was too tight around the middle, and because it's, like you can sort of see, I have a shirt underneath, but you can sort of see through it, that it just really didn't look good. It fits perfectly fine today, so that makes me very happy. So one thing that I just want to mention, in case I didn't, I may have last week. If I did, sorry, I'm repeating myself, but I have a tendency to retain water, and I'm on a prescription diuretic. VSG Tanya is as well. I had noticed that after starting keto, that I was retaining a lot of water, which didn't make sense to me even with taking my diuretic. And I talked to Tanya about it, and she said that she thought that I should count all my liquids, like my coffee, in for my 64 ounces of water. Once I did that, the water retention went away. So I guess that some of us just aren't able to handle as much water as others. So that's gone away as well. I wore my, I was going to say my new cute shoes, but they aren't new, but they're cute. My cute shoes tonight that zip up and wrap around and that I cannot wear at all when I'm having swelling. So that's all good. All right, so exercise, I really have not been doing a whole lot the last 2 weeks, but tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m., I start back personal training with my trainer, Brandon. I started seeing him when I was 6 weeks post-op and, you know, like over 300 pounds, and worked with him for about 2 years because of a variety of reasons. Haven't been seeing him for the last year, but June 1st, he started in his new gym where he can personally train clients again. So going back to him, effective tomorrow morning, so that should be fun. So I hope to do that and at least one yoga class. So I'll be seeing him Tuesday and Thursday mornings, and then one yoga class. I'm super excited to get back to strength training. I am really dedicated to getting back the level of strength and fitness that I had, and I want to be at my lowest weight and in my best shape for my talk at Obesity Help in October. So that's what's going on there. Also, if you're in Southern California and are interested in maybe having a boot camp aimed specifically at heavier people who don't have experience exercising with a group of your peers, let me know at a comment or message me, because Brandon and I are talking about trying to put together some classes like that, because I just think it's so important. I mean, the one thing that Brandon did for me when I was first training with him was he pushed me, but he didn't push me so much that I didn't feel like a success. And through the process of working with me, he's learned a lot about how, is this recording? If this isn't recording, I'm going to be all of the upset. Oh, it is. Okay, right? Is it? Yes. Okay, sorry. And I'm probably going to kill myself. I should not be doing this. But anyway, we're talking about putting together a class at his gym, which is in Huntington Beach, but also maybe we could travel to other places in Southern California if we could get enough interest in this. So if this is something that you're interested in, let me know, and we'll see what we can do about that. Okay, so from my, that was my weight loss surgery portion. Here's my mental mindfuck portion, because always have to have that, because that's probably the biggest part of my journey right now. I made a video last week about the people, about just hearing a lot of people on Instagram, on Facebook, and YouTube videos talk about feeling like a failure because they had either regained weight or they weren't doing things perfectly, and how that was utter bullshit. And it made me sad, and I wanted you all to, I mean, there's a difference between holding yourself accountable yet being kind to yourself. If you're, I do not feel like anyone who's an active participant in this community, or ever was an active participant in this community, can be considered a failure if you're continuing to try. The only failure is if you 100% give up, and everything else is just gathering information. And you can give up one day, and as long as you pick it back up the next day, it's fine, or 2 weeks later, or whatever. But anyway, so I was talking about that piece and how it made me sad to hear people who had lost an incredible amount of weight, or made significant changes in their life, or taken the courageous decision to have weight loss surgery and to really do something to address this issue. It made me sad to hear you all call yourselves failures. You aren't failures. But there was something that I made a video on a while back that I just want to repeat, because I think it's important, and it's this idea of keeping our promises and commitments to ourselves. So I know that I personally will go out of my way to keep a promise or a commitment that I make to somebody else, but have not in my life been so great about keeping those commitments to myself always. And I think you know that, as I mean, it shows up in a myriad of ways. It's the Monday morning diet. It's the New Year's diet. It's the, you know, I'm going to do this work, this big, huge, giant work project. I'm going to start it today when it's not due for 3 months, and then I don't. I mean, all those things that we say to ourselves. But part of the thing that I think is really helpful in this process, and I say that I've said this a million times about the one small step, just one little thing. I think a lot of us who have been overweight, our lives struggle with perfectionism, because, and that what happens when you are a perfectionist is that sometimes it seems so overwhelming to do everything right that you just sort of give up. And when you're looking at, you know, I have 200 pounds to lose, how could I ever do that? Well, you do it one small step at a time. And I just believe in building up that commitment muscle that you have to yourself, with not trying to do everything in the whole world. So you commit to you only make commitments to yourself that you feel like you can keep. And you do that with one thing until you feel like you've got it, and then you do it again. Because there is nothing more defeating, I think personally, than me telling myself I'm going to do something and then not doing it. So I try to be careful about what I commit to for that very reason, because I have a whole lifetime of breaking my commitments to myself that I'm dealing with. I have to learn to trust myself to make good decisions for Elizabeth and for Elizabeth's body, and to do the things that are healthy for me. And that's a very different mindset than I've ever had in my entire life. But the more I do it, the more I build up that muscle of keeping my commitment to myself, the more I can believe in myself and know that even though I regained 20 pounds or now 15, that I'm not a failure. I am changing my life one step at a time in amazing ways, and so are you, and don't you forget it. Okay, don't forget, this Sunday Dr. V is going to be on The Naked Truth, so I hope you guys will tune in live. It's 5 o'clock on 5 o'clock Pacific time on Sunday. It's going to be a special 2-hour show. Anyway, yeah, you guys have a great week. I will see you later.